and welcome back to Brew Tapcast. I am Tap here for another Flesh and Blood Pints and Previews episode. We are Tales of Aria Day 4 right now and today. And we have some very nice cards, including a legendary card to talk about today. So we have 6 creators with 9 cards, and let's just jump right into it. All right, so here we are for our first one. This is Evergreen. That is, I just want to take a moment to respect the beauty of this card. It is gorgeous. So I am one for elementally nature stuff like 110%. And I want to look, I know we've seen a couple Earth cards and we haven't pointed out, but look at the border. So like it's got that traditional Aria border, but it's got these beautiful that look like branches or roots or leaves in that border. Man, that is pretty. And I just want to say that it's just wonderful. And the art itself, gorgeous. All those little, can't remember, they're not meeples or whatever. There's some like weird little thing that they're all over the lore. They're very they steal things and they're awful, but they're cute. In any case, that deer stag, gorgeous, love it. Okay, on to the card. Sorry about that. Okay, so Evergreen. This is a red pitch, 3 cost, 7 power, 3 defense, earth action, attack. It says if Evergreen is played from Arsenal, put it on the bottom of your deck when the combat chain closes. That's so neat and flavorful with the card. Like, it's Evergreen. It always recycles back. And then the flavor text is Evergreen, everlasting. Old Aria proverb to endure. So yeah, I mean, flavorful, powerful. I could dig it. So cycle of this at rare, likely going to be 6 and 5 power. Not so bad. I mean, limited. Those are bombs, or like powerhouse whackers, beaters, all that kind of cool. 3 cost for 7 power is definitely on a nice curve. You can really enjoy that power. Outside of that, I mean, like being able to bring it back to the bottom of your deck is really nice. Not even depending upon it hits. That's not an overloop in that regard, and that makes it very powerful. So you can really see this as being a nice attack in Guardians in particular. Like if you're going to want to fatigue them, like this can be something that you can sort of swing with a couple times. It costs a single blue pitch, which you're looking for a lot with Guardian anyways. Apparently, actually, sorry, I meant to mention defense value on the digital. This particular picture is 3, but I believe the print card is actually 2. Maybe it didn't make it to the final spoiler file that was sent out to Looty World, which I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. But yeah, really nice. I could pop Prism with 2 of the versions if we're looking to play it in Constructed, that kind of thing. It's just so pretty. But I like that you can, turn it on with a single blue card, so you can have a 2-card hand. If this is in your arsenal, you can strip down to a single blue card in hand or whatever, and then still hit this. Boom, goes to the bottom. I like it a lot. So we can move on to the next card, though, that I'm gushing over this thing. But in any case, all right. All right, so now we have Pulse of Ofeisenloft. This is from Mithril. This is our Ice-Earth defense reaction at Legendary. So this is a Mythic. It's a blue pitch, 2 cost, 6 defense for this defense reaction. It is legendary, so only have one of them in your deck. It says Ice, Earth, and Elemental action cards you have +1 defense while defending this turn. So think of this as your very, very costed defense reaction with a 6 defense cost for 2 is already like spectacular. And then it's got like that flick flack and combo thing going on where this is going to bump your extra cards up, or I guess I'd say that Stonewall Confidence also in Guardian helps you buff other things, but this is a particular, that's an aura. This is a defense reaction, so you're going to boom, like defend as a defense reaction, so maybe you're throwing out a card like, oh, cool, like here's the 3 defense Guardian card or whatever. That's an elemental thing. And then boom, you slam this on top of that, and then you get an even bigger defense. So I'm saying Guardian because it's Guardian is one of the ones we just talked about, and this is definitely like Ofeisenloft is Oldhim's big place anyway, so that's kind of why we're talking about that. But this is very good on rate. Love the flick flack nature of boosting the defense. Very powerful card in general. But that's probably why they made it a legendary. All that said, great card. Moving on to our next one, we have from Fabulous, we have Oaken Old. This is, I'm sorry about the blurry image. It's really, we're trying to find a better version of the card. We just couldn't as of right now. But we have a Mythic, Majestic. This is a red pitch, 3 cost. It's very hard to see. 7 power, 3 defense, Elemental Guardian action attack. It is Earth and Ice fusion. And it says, if Oaken Old was fused, it gains +2 Dominate. And if it hits a hero, they put 2 random cards from their hand in the bottom of their deck in any order. So just We'll do a little like Jeopardy thing, like cue the Jeopardy music. Probably ask a question first. So, what does this remind you of? And the answer is, of course, Crippling Crush. So this is like, we talked yesterday, or in the previous video, that we had these, a couple of the cards that could basically buff, and then if it hit, they discard 2 cards, or they put them on the bottom of their deck. This is just straight up Crippling Crush's effect. And then you don't even have to crush. You just gotta, boop, you gotta poke for 1. You just gotta poke for 1. So you fuse it, a 3 cost card coming in for 9 with Dominate. And it has the Crippling Crush effect of 2 random cards. Yeah, it doesn't go to the graveyard, it goes to the bottom, but still, it's fantastic. This card is bonkers. I love it. I think it's super powerful. I watch out for it. Play it. This is not legendary, and I feel like it's pretty brutal, but that is Oaken Old. Just watch out for it. This is another one of those cards to watch, I think. Like, yikes. Flippin' yikes. Super, super well costed. All right, we're on to our next card. This is Mulch from Radio Reflex. We have this really cool... so this is a 4 cost. This is the red pitch. 8 power, 3 defense, Elemental Guardian attack action. It says Earth Fusion. If Mulch was fused, it gains. If it hits a hero, put a card from their arsenal on the bottom of their deck. So we saw that with, I think it was Debilitate or Disable, one of the other Guardian cards. And I think it was similarly costed as well. But you don't have to crush. You just have to hit for 1. That's it. You just hit for 1. I love this. This is so much better. Guardian, part of the problem with playing Bravo is like, you had to hit for so much. You really just had to like beef up your attacks, dominate, and then get in for that 4 points. And sometimes they just had a defense reaction, or they had the flick flack that boosted things. It was really obnoxious. In any case, this gets around that, but you just gotta pop in for 1, chip in for 1, and you're all good. And I just gotta say the I love the art in this because it literally looks like they're just ripping them to pieces and turning them into like Rudy Mulch sort of stuff. Like there's bits of the body going in different places and then roots just sort of sprouting from them. It says just gorgeous. Like I love it. You're mulching the opponent into nature. Gotta love that. So yeah, at common, this is a very powerful card. We assume it's a cycle, so we'll go down to 7 and 6 power, which even that 4 cost for 6, that's not that bad, especially if you can knock out a card from your arsenal. Super brutal in limited. May see some play in constructed. We'll see maybe the blue version, something like that, just because it's like a poor man's CNC, you know? Gotta love it. If you can fuse, that is. But very, very cool, very powerful. I like it a lot. All right, here we have our latest legendary from Gregor Kowalski. He is a old MTG. He's a Magic Pro. I think he's sort of retiring from Magic now, and just going to be sort of retiring from professional Magic, that is. He got this sweet Heart of Ice. This is an ice equipment in his chest. It is a defense value of 1. And it says, once per turn action, pay 1 cards and activate abilities that cost opposing heroes an additional 1 resource this turn. So go again. So everything is taxed by 1. And yes, you can only do it on your turn, and it's only once per turn, but really, like, think of this as paying for your Seismic Surge token in your previous, like when you were playing with Tectonic Plating. It was always very helpful, but you sort of always had cards that you could overpitch for, and then you'd have, boom, you could pay for that Seismic Surge, and that was work well with Anathos, which is really nice as well. But in this case here, we have just pay 1, and instead of reducing your cost, it taxes your opponent, which is great, because what if they have some defense reactions that are free, like Fate Foreseen or Sink Below? And I think, interestingly, it doesn't actually harm Rise Above if you choose to not pay the cost. If you choose to just throw something on top of your library, I believe it actually doesn't have that, because you're paying an alternative cost, where this just makes it cost an additional 1. So if the cost is 3, I think, I don't quote me on that one. So very powerful there. And yeah, taxing your opponent is great to slow them down, in the sense of trying to prevent damage. And that's kind of what you want to do with Guardian, is you want to disallow, and then we're seeing a lot of these unhit effects of being able to, boom, just smack in for 1 damage and getting these really bonus frostbite effects or whatever. So very exciting there. It's got Blade Break, which is kind of crummy, easy to destroy in that regard, but just like your Spring Tunic, you're just sort of going to wait for this to be the last piece that you use to block. And Arcane Barrier 1. So we saw with Shock Charmers that Spell Void, and we were like, maybe it's just looking backwards in time at other constructed format, and not really worry about that as far as the implications of limited. But now they have a second piece with Arcane Barrier or magical arcane damage prevention. making Wizard look a lot more possible as our last hero, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be back with a Wizard reveal. Not us. I think it's Tournament Center or someone's got a hero reveal. In any case, this is really pointing towards there being an arcane sort of thing, whether it's like the card gallery on the site sort of dictates, by alphabet stuff, that we'll see a Wizard, because the latter classes are the ones that are not there. So super cool card though. Love the taxing effect, and that's that. Enough about that. All right, on to our last of our spoilers. We have DM Ramada with 4 spoilers. The first one is Embolden. So Embolden is our first sort of, we have a couple different auras that we're going to look at today. This is a blue pitch, 4 cost, 3 defense, guardian action aura. It says go again. When Embolden enters the arena, if you control another non-token aura, draw a card. Love it. That's what we had with, it's sort of what we saw with Blessing of Deliverance, with costs of pitched cards and things like that. But this looks like this is a nice way to sort of go the aura route, build an aura deck, and then sort of have you're being paid back. So essentially, this is going to cost at least 1 card. If you can benefit from like a Seismic Surge or something like that token, it'll cost less. But in any case, you're going to lose at least 1 to 2 cards and this card. So if you had a 4-card hand, you're going to drop down to 1. Be able to draw 1 back. You can still do something else. So you can pitch 1 and swing with something, or throw an attack down. So definitely can set up for an actual turn and set up for your next turn, which is nice because you can draw that card. It says at the beginning of your next action phase, destroy Embolden. Then the next Guardian attack action card you play this turn gets +3. And this is the blue version of the rare cycle here. So we're seeing +4 and +5 on the yellow and red, and like +5 is just out of this world. Like, yeah, it's 4, but you're getting a card back, and you can still do something on that turn. And they all block, and this blocks for 3 too. So like looking pretty nice for Guardian. And then again, DM Ramada, when he spoiled these cards, called it these 4 cards are like the Guardian, or a Guardian archetype in limited, and that's 100% true. That these are all common. This is the rare one out of the 4 that we're going to see. And they definitely set up for some pretty big turns. Yes, you do have to wait, especially in limited when you're going to have not all the cards you necessarily need. You're definitely going to have some pretty good times if you can grab a few auras and then have these good stuff just keep on rolling. So with that said, we have other auras. And so here, the next one is Emerging Avalanche. So instead of Emerging Powers, we have Emerging Avalanche. This is the red pitch 2 cost Elemental Guardian attack, or Elemental Guardian action aura. Defense for 3. Ice Fusion. Go again. When Emerging Avalanche enters the arena, if it was fused, create a Frostbite token under target hero's control. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy Emerging Avalanche. Then the next attack action card you play this turn gains +3. Doesn't need to be a Guardian. But gotta love the boom. You fuse it, they get a Frostbite token. I love that. Like, I'm glad we can see some common Frostbite detect or creation, because it's really, I'm really liking that whole taxing effect, and the fact that you can have this in limited is really fun, because I think that's a really fun sort of mechanic. We also saw that with the the amulet was not Frostbite, it was just its own taxing effect, so discarding or paying stuff. So this is really cool. I think this is the red version of the cycle, so the other ones are going to be +2 and +1, which isn't that bad, and we'll see why we get the last card he spoiled. That all of these work well with the attack that he spoiled. So he has 3 auras in the attack, and it's very nice that you can have this buff at any particular level, and as we'll see, that's nice. This is going to bring things out of that breakpoint, possibly. So if you have 4 or 5 power attack, you can bring up to another breakpoint. It's going to require another card to be blocked, and then that just, is just better for you. It limits the opponent's turn when it comes to their turn, and it's just an overall very powerful card at common. So again, definitely limited focus. I don't think Emerging Powers ever really saw any play, unless it was to like pitch stuff. I mean, it just didn't really do a lot. Not that this is Emerging Powers, but it was a similar in the sense of emerging and things like that. But the auras that just buffed attacks, it didn't really see play. This definitely will see limited play. Maybe you can see other play because you can get a Frostbite token. Sort of depends upon how big that is, and then how much ice you want to put in your deck. But that's enough about that one. All right, our next one is Strength of Sequoia. This is a 2-cost red pitch Elemental Guardian action aura. Defends for 3. Earth Fusion. So this is, we saw an Ice Fusion, now we see the Earth Fusion for that Guardian. Oldham. Let's go again. When it enters the arena, if it was fused, create a Seismic Surge token. So we now see a Seismic Surge outside of Tectonic Plating in Guardian, which is really quite nice. Gotta love that. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy Strength of Sequoia. Then the next attack action card you play this turn gains +3. Gotta love it. So again, All these are pumping. You know, obviously the Embolden is the higher pump because it can go 3, 4, or 5. This is the lower, as well as the emerging Avalanche with 3, 2, 1. In any case, this I feel like is playable at any color. Maybe not constructed because you might not really want to spend the space, but being able to create a Seismic Surge token if it was fused is really, really quite awesome. I mean, especially this with the next attack we're going to see, or anything like this. If you're looking to bump any attack you have, creating a Seismic Surge token is going to make it easier to have an even bigger turn, bigger attack on that turn, or maybe have more resources available to pump that even more. So it's really nice it gets the ball rolling here. So yes, you don't have a draw a card like you saw in Embolden, but you can theoretically play this as well as Embolden with 2 blue cards, and then have 2 cards left over to do something. Or sorry, no, you don't have. You spent all your cards, but then you have your next turn to, boom, if you fused, one of them's going to be cheaper. You're going to have drawn a card, so you might throw something in the arsenal and you get 4 other cards. Maybe you're going to not defend as much in that next turn. You're going to launch this big attack the following turn. It's going to get some sort of large buff. So, love the Seismic Surge token. I think that's a really, really powerful situation. This card art is just like, she's one badass lady, that's for sure. So, if that's Sequoia, if that is her, or is it supposed to be the tree? I don't know, but she's looking pretty mean and ready to beat some people up. So, all right, in the last card we have Thump. So just take a look at that. There's literally, I think we can see what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dudes, and this Guardian is just like, yeah, he's getting his clothes ripped, but he is just pummeling him. Like, he threw 2 people. One guy's like trying to climb on him, ripping his clothing. One was just getting socked in the face. So very cool art here. So we have Thump. This is the red pitch, 4 cost, 6 power, Guardian action, attack with 3 defense. And it says, well, Thump's power is greater than its base power. It has Dominate, and if it hits a hero, they discard a card. Some of the best language that we can have in this game is discard a card, and we have it at common now. I love it. I know we saw that ice card that said if they don't pay whatever, they discard a card. I just love this. So it's really good. Yeah, any of the auras we just saw help to bump this pace power up. Even if for once that strength of Sequoia, even if you play the blue version, you're gonna get a Seismic Courage token. This is gonna be playable off a blue pitch card. It's gonna be coming in for 7 with Dominate, and if they hit, boom, discard a card. Limited, that's going to hit. It's going to hit. There are not a lot of defense reactions that we don't really know, but we haven't seen a lot of armor. Maybe those are going to come in the Blitz decks. We're not really sure. We don't even know when those are coming out. But this is going to be a powerhouse limited. Like, and it's a 3 defense. Like, wow. Just wow. Like, being able to thump in for 6, 7 with Dominate and limited is a really nice finisher. That is, like, spectacular. You're going to wipe the floor with people with this archetype. And it's not that you can't do a lot on your turns to set up for these, because, like, again, if you're playing that Strength of Sequoia and you fused it, you only need this card in a blue to get that off, and you're going to be hitting it for some damage. So, you know, we saw that Bravo in Welcome to Wraith was a very good fatigue. You just, you know, pitch and swing, you block, pitch and swing, all that kind of stuff. You can have these really powerful turns that are consistent. Yes, and you're not going to have that consistency necessarily here, but this is a really nice card for, like, this could be a finisher. Like, you get a couple of these auras, you have to set up for it, but then you just start slamming in for these big dominant hits at the end of the game, and you blow your opponent out. So that's it for the cards today, and I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about this limited format. LSS had said this is the best, most exciting elemental limited format so far to be seen, and you gotta respect that, because, you know, they do a lot of testing. They've been making this game for a long time, and they've had very successful limited sets. And I'm excited for it. So, and I wonder if that does have to do with the 3 heroes instead of 4 and the overlapping things like that. It'll definitely make for a confusing limited environment. Signals are going to be like haywire because of that. So, but that will be it. So we have day 5. We have a hero reveal tomorrow, so we'll be excited to see that. So definitely come check that out. We'll be dropping that on our spoiler review when that comes out. So that will be all for this day 4 of previews, pints and previews. So that'll be all. So we'll see you tomorrow for the new hero. Thank you so much, and cheers.